Mr. McCollins. Today's webinar is titled Coping with the Current Times and Post-COVID-19 Strategies for Schools and Classroom Management. Let's begin today's event with a little bit of interaction. And now I'm gonna throw a question. Let's begin with I can see Mrs. Ijoma is already with us. Mrs. Ijoma Go. Hello, Mrs. Ijoma.
In that whole process, you also ran across your.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mrs. IJ. Good to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Please, can you tell us where you're connected from?
Okay, I'm connected from Ijegu in Ekotun area of Lagos State.
Wow, we're super excited to have you join us in this webinar today. Can you tell us your category? Are you a consultant, a school owner, an administrator, or a teacher?
A school owner.
Sorry?
A school owner.
Wow, you're a school owner.
Yes,
once
sir.
again, we want to welcome you to today's event. I have a few questions for you, Mrs. IJ, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Now, as a school owner, how are you handling these current times and season that we find ourselves? How are you handling your school? How are you handling in terms of fee payment? Are you paying your teachers? Are your teachers currently underpaid? You said,
Thank you very much, sir, for that question. It's a very big challenge here.
okay.
So, start with the online class, considering the environment we are operating from, it's really, really challenging. Most parents are not cooperating at all. They prefer the physical class than the online class. Most of them, got private teachers for their children instead of allowing them use their phone. And our environment is not that hybrid, but we believe someday it will be better. Then the issue of school fees, salary.
Yes.
It has not been easy. We are not coping at all.
But have you been paying? Have you been paying any percentage at all to your teachers?
We are paid last in March.
Okay. March was the last time you paid?
Yes.
Okay. So have you been in touch with your teachers communication-wise, trying to find out their welfare?
Yes, we've been communicating. They understand the situation. And we've been communicating. Of course, we have a platform. So from time to time, we encourage one another.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mrs. IJ. We'll get back to you shortly.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Let's listen to, I have Oludiko Adebuko Oladapo. Okay. Adebukonla. Right. Adebukonla. Can you unmute your sound, please?
Yeah, I've done that. Good morning, Mr. I.
Good morning. I'm super excited to have you join us today.
So am I.
What are you expecting in today's webinar? What are your expectations for today's webinar?
As the program is, as the topic suggests now, that classroom management, and as a teacher, I'm always interested to see to get more ways on how to manage my class effectively. Knowledge is not owned by just one person. So I want to diversify my knowledge. That is why I got registered to the class.
So you're a teacher?
Yes, I am.
So what has been your, how have you coped so far?
Well, it has not been easy, but by the special grace of God, at least we are still alive.
Have you been paid? Are you currently on pay?
Yes. My school has been, in fact, my madam has been super awesome.
Paying you completely?
When it comes to payment.
Okay, that's a good one. Thank you so much, Mr.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right.
Mrs. Juliana, good morning. Mr. Juliana, can you unmute, please? Good morning. Mrs. Juliana, can you hear me? Good morning. Okay, let's move over to Mrs. Agnes. Good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy to be here too.
We're super excited to have you join us today. Can you tell us what's your category? Are you a consultant, a school owner, or a teacher, or an administrator?
Head of school.
You are the head of school.
Administrator.
Okay. Good. So how have you been maintaining your workforce so far? How are you maintaining your workforce?
It has not been easy, but well, we give them a lot of encouragement, and we'll try to organize the online classes and generate the little resources from there with which we are sustaining them.
So how's your online classes been so far?
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Are the parents complying? Are they paying the full school fees, or is there a certain percentage?
No, we just a certain, it's not even part of the school fees, like having a continual classes like summer school or after school lesson. But it's structured like a school program, yeah.
So can you say this is your third term for your school?
Well, actually, because Lagos State was insisting that we shouldn't start third term, but well, invariably we find a way to go around it, not third term fully, but at least we are doing some content of third term.
Okay, so what are the major challenges you're facing at the moment?
Well, really, on our own part, we don't really have challenges, but I think the major challenges is the mindset of the children. You know, this caught us all unawares, and their mindset wasn't prepared for a thing like this. You know, so for most of them, it's actually new, and then getting them to psychologically prepare themselves to the fact that, oh, this is an extension of the classroom. And so you find that some of them turn up late and they will tell you, I just woke up. And then some parents, they think we are burdening them because, of course, if they are in the physical school, all those supervision is out of their way. And so for some of them, they are not following up monitoring the children. Then apart from that, for me, I also feel that it's supposed to be, this virtual class is supposed to be for matured minds or children that have been prepared along the line for it. So probably as we go into the new norm, apart from the physical classroom teaching, we should also continue with the virtual class so that the children can have blended learning and it becomes a part of them.
All right, very good. But one last question for you, Mrs. Agnes. What are you hoping to learn in today's webinar?
Well, it's to find a way just to learn more on how we can move learning forward in the new normal, and then see how we can all collaborate together and give the children the best that we can, basically.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, I can see Owuni Ibrahim, Owuni Ibrahim. Good morning. Come back. I can see Mr. Julius Ola Peters. Mr. Julius, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
We're excited to have you today.
Thank you very much.
Please tell us your category. Are you a school owner, consultant, or teacher?
Yeah, I'm in school now.
Okay, good to have you again. Mr. Julius, recently a video went viral on social media crying out for help to private school teachers. What is the fate of your teachers? You know, there's this viral video about private school teachers going online to cry out for help? What is the fate of your teachers?
Well, the pandemic came to everyone on notice, and unprepared. And of course, it came disrupting the whole plan that everyone had on ground. So for my teachers, of course, we face the same challenge everyone is experiencing.
Are they also on the streets crying out for help?
Of course, you know that the teachers doesn't have any secondary job before that time or secondary business. Majority doesn't have that. Only very few might have. So everyone actually is caught unaware, and everybody thought it's going to be a problem of 1 month or 2 months at most, but then it's becoming 3 months, 4 months, and then we have not even seen the end aside. So everybody is at the panic stage. Okay, so my teachers were also on the crying side, but then we were able to bring ourselves together. And I've always been telling them before that as an economist, I've always been telling everybody to prepare for the bad day. And some will think that maybe I'm a professor or the prophet of doom. But then as an economist, I said, look, there is a risk. Life is a risk. And you must always prepare. So we enter into that era with, and then manage it with that mindset that this is what a guy used to say. And then we have to come together to see what we can do. Not much we can do really, but for my school, we were not able to pay a full salary. Of course, I told them at the point in time, any month where there is no income, then there is no salary. We need to understand that upfront, no income, no expenditure. No income, no salary, no income, no expenditure. So that is the principle. But then from my side as a compassionate person, I went from the 100% salary initially to 50%, and then from 50%, the following month, I couldn't help them. I have to give them some bag of rice to go and share. And then after that, I cannot help it. I have to give them some bag of rice, bag of gari to go and share. So what is going to happen in the month of July, I can't say. Yep.
Please tell us where you're connected from, please.
Yeah, I'm in the Ikorodu Beshe side.
Okay, go on, sir. We can hear you, sir.
So Ikorodu Beshe, that's the way we did it, is scale it down. We didn't just stop apparently in time of palliative support to the teachers. We tried to bring it down, like I said, from 100% salary in the month of occurrence to 50% salary thereafter, then to some bag of rice in the month of May, I think, and then there was some bag of rice, gari, in the month of July, the month of June. So this month of July, I don't know what we will, but my teacher appreciate that, but everybody knows it's a pandemic, and that is it. But I'm happy that it's not a total war. It was not a battle, it's not a war, conflict, outright social conflict or that. It is just a pandemic that's make everybody to sit down at home. That's still a good.
We're going to win this war.
Yeah, we're going to win it. So it's a better one than where you are hearing bullets left and right, and then the society is up and up, uprising. But
running online classes. Are you running
disappointedly,
classes?
yes, we are running online up to now. At least that's one of the creative measures that the staff themselves, they come together to design how best to go online. I told them to try that. They tried that, and they are working class by class. WhatsApp. We were trying to use Google this day before, but it was not working well. And then since the parents are not around for Zoom and then for lines, so we have to go on WhatsApp. But the last time I met them about in June, because we have a meeting in June at a very convenient time, and I think the time I met them, a good number was online, but less than 30% is actually participating online.
Now, I have another question for you, Mr. Julius. The money
Yep.
generated from this online class, who takes the money?
Absolutely, there was no money in a Koroduyu, Ibishi side. I won't want to call it a rural area, but just like everybody said, the interest of the parents was actually not that sharp. The parents just go aloof, and I only encourage the parent to give at least money for data for my staff where it's applicable. But I can tell you that at least per month I give them 2,000 to buy data. Okay, that's from my purse.
Well done, sir. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Julius.
It's
Thank
my own
you so much.
social, it's my own palliative measure in a very minimal way, and it's going down. Okay, next month may not be 2,000, maybe 1,000. It's going down because the total budget for palliative is almost running out.
Okay. Thank you once again, Mr. Julius. Thank you.
Everybody, and thanks for attending this very beautiful program. We thank the organizers, the Sky Gardens. You know that we can talk about COVID-19 all day long, the difficulty and some other things that people have experienced. But today we are going to be talking about coping with the current times and post-COVID-19 strategies for schools and classroom management. My work is divided into two. First, we look at the coping with the current times, that is now, and then we go on to look at what will happen post-COVID strategies that people will be needing. Now, we understand that life is very difficult. Life during this COVID-19 pandemic has been very difficult for all stakeholders. It all depends on where the individual belongs to, whether rich, poor, the needy. Everybody has had one form of difficulty or the other. Coronavirus crisis has impacted both students and school administrators with several challenges, and we have new lessons that will serve as coping strategies. You will agree with me that the lockdown has kept people at home. The advantage is that people have bonded, but the disadvantage is that remaining in a place kept people weak, and therefore most people became ill, especially those who are living in small apartments where they do not have an opportunity to go around. Then everybody harbored the fear of coronavirus. People were scared. People out of fear did not allow anybody to come near. Several things that were connoted. So if you have a headache, you became scared, especially when people learn that with a headache or even when you have a bone in your throat, they will classify the person as coronavirus patient. People became really scared. Cash was another thing. Most people didn't have money because they were not prepared for it. School owners, most of them who use the examination period to collect their money, did not collect anything at all. That became a major issue. Then you have ill health associated with being locked down. You have schools who didn't have technology at all. Schools without technology were thrown off their balance. They didn't know what to do. Even when it came to tuning in, at least for those in Lagos State, though the government provided multimedia for them to use, majority of the people didn't have power. So students and pupils are still out of school in Nigeria due to this nationwide school closure. This is because of the difficulties of the situation. All decision makers, either at the state or national levels, will consider public health first. That means even the school owners will consider the health of students, the teachers, and all other stakeholders. It is very, very key. The first thing on the minds of the parents is it safe for my child to go back to school? This means that going back to school is different from what it used to be. It will now depend on the evolving situation. All stakeholders need to be flexible and ready to adapt to ensure the safety of every child. Returning to school will require a lot of planning. The need to fumigate the entire school, cleaning of a whole school plan that has been left unused for several months. The issue of physical distancing that will require extra space and furniture. School bus that we need to go several rounds because of the reduced number of pupils it can hold. Determining how they will stand on the assembly ground. The fear of any student or staff who may resume with symptoms of COVID-19 and how to handle such. The lack of finance by some private schools who could not collect their fees because they were hurriedly told to close their schools. Private school owners will equally worry about their teachers in the absence of salary. Some of them may have gone into petty trading or some other trades. If they discover that they are making more money than the stipends that they were receiving as salary, well, it is possible that they will all leave the teaching profession and go to where they have newly established themselves. They will worry too about the pupils or students who are resuming back to school. How much of what they were taught before they were told to stay at home do they still remember? The school head will worry about those who may have gone to other schools because a drop in the number of students will affect the cash flow of the school. They will also pray that no casualty or death is recorded, as this will give the school a very bad image. Just imagine how parents will react should anything like that happen. That means there are precautions that we must take as individuals to ensure that the COVID-19 virus does not spread. We should flatten the curve. That is what it means. And all hands must be on deck, no matter where you belong, to ensure that the curve is flattened. Attention to attendance of students. And the school or classroom is not big enough to accommodate all of them. There will now be a need to hold school in shifts to reduce the class size. That means you can share the children into two. Some people will come in the morning, others will come in the afternoon. Secondly, the teachers must be very careful about how they mark the daily register. Mark for the morning section and later for the afternoon section. This will eradicate the error of marking present for a child who is absent in the afternoon due to ill health, as the case may be. Then we talk about safe distancing. This is required on the assembly grounds. It's also required in the classroom as the children sit, even in other special rooms, in the school bus, and even when the school bus is going and returning home. The children will not be allowed to play on their on the playground the normal way they have always done it. If this happens, you know, that will not gladden their hearts. The school may have to stagger the movement of the students after school, allowing them to file out in a reasonable number to avoid overcrowding. Alternate learning models, that is, teaching alternate education encompasses many pedagogical approaches that will differ. That means if you want to do alternate learning, you have to set up, design, and accommodate children individually according to their needs. That means you are going to share the class according to their needs in order to be able to get to each person. Those who are ill, who cannot sit with others, you have to isolate them and then prepare for them to learn on their own. And then those who have a handicap or those who are not learning and are not meeting the class standard, you have to arrange too for those people to be on their own. Alternate education programs designed to give students a chance to learn in the ways and manner that works for them. So each school must know their students and then know what they will do with each child, because this has become very, very necessary. Then you have to look at hygiene. We must ask ourselves what to do as a person or an individual to avoid the virus. We cannot assume that the pupils and students already know enough about COVID-19. The school should organize awareness campaign programs to educate the school community about COVID-19. Observe strictness in quarantining every and in all in contact persons, as well as isolating every sick person. Remind the students to wash their hands regularly as often as they can afford to wash their hands. Tell them to avoid touching their faces, picking their noses and pimples. Tell them to adhere strictly to safe physical distancing. It is very, very important. I also encourage them to practice respiratory hygiene. Ensure both you and people around you follow good respiratory hygiene. This means cover your mouth and nose with your bent elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Then dispose of the used tissue immediately and appropriately. Use regular nose and mouth mask to cover yourself. Remember that droplets spread virus. But by following good respiratory hygiene, you protect yourself and the people around you from cold, flu, and of course, COVID-19. Obey, restrain others coming from the school. We must teach the children that. And we must make them to understand why they are using their hand sanitizers. When you suspect that anybody has a virus or you have a virus, practice homemade warm inhalation. Ensure your throat is moist, never dry. Taking a few sips of water every 15 minutes at least is beneficial. This way, even if the virus is in the mouth or lungs, the water will wash it down into the stomach, wherein the stomach acid will kill it. These are all the things that we must teach the children. Then we should tell them too about self-check. It may happen that the test kits may not be readily available to reach everyone. Prior to getting tested in the hospital, experts recommend a simple self-test that we can do every morning. Take a deep breath and hold your breath for more than 10 seconds. If you complete it successfully without coughing, without any discomfort, stiffness, or tightness, it proves there is no fibrosis in the lungs, which indicates no infection. Establishment of a school COVID-19 referral system, including protocols and procedures to take if learners, teachers, administrators, or other education personnel become unwell while in school, is equally necessary. As necessary as these things are, there are challenges. Some schools, some public schools do not have water. If you now ask the number of students or pupils in such schools that is enormous to keep washing hands, how will they get water? I'm not afraid of the private schools. They normally struggle to put things in place. Space is required to maintain physical distancing. If you have over 100 children in a class, how can you maintain physical distancing? If you think of using open spaces when it is raining, what will you do to such students? You discover that these are problems that require money to expand. The cost is really huge. Teachers will definitely be asking for more money due to an increase in transportation. That will constitute a problem to the school owners. The schools may require funds also to improve on their ICT facilities. I can see most schools increasing their fees to be able to cope. So if we say we are not going to increase fees, are you thinking that the teachers will remain on the same salary? And then, before COVID, their money was small. It was from their hand to their mouth, especially for private schools that are receiving small school fees. Now, with the increase in the cost of transportation, will they still be coming to work? Private school owners must consider this adequately because it is important. Skilled and capable workforce will be required, not the mediocres we used to have. So any teacher who is still at home, who has not gone for a training on his own, is not doing himself or herself a favor. Everybody should give that gift to himself or herself. We should learn that we have to learn, relearn, and unlearn so that we can fit into the present era. Now, looking at post-COVID-19 strategies for schools, which is the second part, we must start by asking ourselves what we want. We all know what we want to see. We all want to see results, not just effort. Because the public schools get their money, they are paid their salaries, I don't think anybody is holding anybody for results. Everybody will just tell you, I did this, so it's the children that are not serious. You push the blame to the children all the time. Yet, we know that those who have left the shores of this country are representing us well. I know of the number of students I have taught at Unilag who completed